This short story is brought to you by the Sonoverse. Written by author G.J. Shalla. Voiced by G.J. Shalla. The Doll of Evinrude Street.
There's something comforting about early November. Most people loathe it, but the last of the fallen leaves being swept away, carrying in the promise of snow, it's something I've always looked forward to. There's a certain hush that falls over everything, people and the land. Evening walks with my dog seem less invaded by passers-by. Those last dried leaves crunch underfoot, and her collar jingles at a steady rhythm. As the sun begins to fade away, Pixie and I are on the last leg of our walk. We took a different way. New sights, new sounds for my inquisitive girl. Don't let her name fool you. She's a 75-pound Doberman with a pink, spike-studded collar. The late fall breeze caresses the back of my neck, and I take a deep breath in. This is what it's all about. The quiet. The stubborn oak trees clinging to their beloved leaves. The pale, painted sky. I squint at the tree line across the road. My eyesight isn't great. My glasses creak in protest as I move them to the bridge of my nose. Standing in the trees, not 20 feet from the road, is a figure. It almost looks like a woman. Pixie is on high alert at my side. Her pointed ears quiver, and her black eyes fixate on the woman. What the hell is she doing? I murmur aloud. The woman is rooted to the spot. Silence hangs in the air. No cars have gone by, and no souls have walked past. Gripping the leash tight, I start across the street. Why isn't she moving? I can't help but wonder. Hey, are you all right? I call out. On the curb closest to her, my heart catches in my throat. Something isn't right. She isn't right. Her long blonde hair is dangling down, hiding her face. Her shoulders are hunched in such a way that it seems like she wants to take a step forward. But she remains transfixed. Pixie whines next to me, breaking my gaze from the strange woman. I glance down at my dog, and she worms her way backward. Pixie. The dead leaves in front of us rapidly crunch, and I leap away from the curb. Watch it, loser. Two teen boys sneer at me as they walk on the grass. Did the doll scare you? One of them taunts. Doll? I echo. Did you think she was real? The boys cackle, strutting away. My cheeks flush red. The breeze blows the doll's long, blonde hair, encompassing her face. She's wearing a mucky, floor-length white nightgown. That's unsettling on its own. From 20 feet away, I can't tell how she's propped up, but I sure as hell don't want to find out. Have you seen that spooky thing on Evinrude Street? Spooky thing? My wife raises an eyebrow at me. No, I don't know that road either. I was raised several counties over, but my wife, Ash, was raised in the nearby city. Just 20 minutes away from this humdrum town is a bustling metropolis. We hoped for a quiet, peaceful life here. Someone put a doll in the woods. Creepy as hell. It looks real. Real. My wife states back to me. She's a family counselor, and she lives and breathes logic. The doll looks real, Ash repeats, and I nod. She shakes her head. Sounds like someone did a great job decorating for Halloween. But it's November. Why haven't they taken it down? She checked her phone. It's November 2nd, Reese. And maybe you shouldn't judge someone too harshly for procrastinating. You leave the Christmas tree up until February each year. Yeah, I guess. I can't help but feel that if my wife saw the doll, she would understand why it made such an impression. Ash tosses a bell pepper into the food processor and shrugs. And if it doesn't get taken down, it'll make a cool snowman. Thinking of the motionless plastic body entombed in snow, a shiver runs down my spine. Would its eyes still stare out across the street, somehow vacant, yet hungry, yearning to be free? The food processor screams to life, and I jerk on the bar stool. Ugh. Needless to say, I toss and turn in bed that night. Pixie is snoring away in her crate, her lip flopping noisily with each exhale. Somehow I manage to fall asleep, but when I wake, I don't feel rested. Evinrude Street pulled me back to it. I had no intention of walking Pixie this way. The sun is fading again, and as we pass the doll, I stare. Across the empty road, I squint and try to take in more of her features. Her bare arms are peachy pink. No matter how the breeze blows, her face is covered. The long grass in front of the tree line obscures my view. Are her feet touching the ground? I truly can't tell. I give my head a shake. I really need to stop referring to that thing as her. It's a doll. It's a creepy plastic prop. And I wish I could say I slept better that night, but I didn't. As I drive to soccer practice the following evening, I make a point of taking my wife with me. She's scrolling on her phone. I give her a nudge and nod out the window. See it? See what? Ash frowns. It's quickly followed by an, "Oh, ew." Yeah, I don't like that. Her frown is now directed at my smiling face. What? Are you happy you freaked me out? Christ, Reese. I happen to glance over my shoulder. Pixie is sitting in the back seat, staring straight out the back window. She has a tendency to get carsick, so she doesn't look out that window often. Reese, the road! Ash exclaims, snapping my attention to the wheel. I pull the car back into our lane. Sorry. Shit. I was gripping the steering wheel way too tight without noticing. I relax my hold and my hands tremble slightly. A quick glance at the rearview mirror tells me that Pixie is still staring out of the back window. Since I haven't been sleeping, I made a real honest effort to wind down properly this evening. I even tried the whole warm milk thing. Sure enough, as I lie in bed, my eyelids begin to droop. In that strange, semi-conscious state, before drifting off to sleep, I feel Pixie lay down on the foot of the bed. The weight on my feet is kind of comforting, until I remember Pixie is asleep in her locked crate. I slam my body against the headboard, repelling away from the foot of the bed. I fumble to turn on my bedside lamp. I have my eyes squeezed shut so tight a crowbar would be needed to pry them open. When the light clicks on, I crack one eye open. She's right in front of me. I gasp, and with a demented look, Ash bashes me in the head with a pillow. I swear to Satan, Reese, do not wake me up. Didn't I tell you I have to be up at 5 a.m.? Sorry. I grumble as she returns to her side of the bed. Then I remember why both of us are awake. Didn't you feel it, though? Feel what? Ash says, face first on her pillow. It felt like something sat on the end of the bed. Yeah, the fucking cat. The cat. My wife's cat is a wanderer. I haven't seen her in over a month. I glance down at the floor near the foot of the bed. The cat is giving me severe stink eye for yeeting it off the mattress. Oh, shit. I'm sorry, Peaches. Ash reaches across me and switches off the bedside light, plunging the room into darkness. Peaches hops onto the bed again, but this time she purposefully curls up in the crook of my wife's legs. With a shaky exhale, I slide back down under the sheets. I'm ashamed at the pounding of my heart. Jesus Christ. I'm 32 years old. This doll has such a weird and powerful hold on me. 2 days pass, and Ash is sipping coffee on a Saturday morning while watching the news. I kiss her head and mosey into the kitchen. Still not sleeping great. I'm hoping to nap the day away. Really sad about those folks. What? I call out from the kitchen. You should listen to the news sometimes, Reese. The news is always depressing. My wife shrugs as she places her empty mug next to the sink. Yeah, well, this is depressing too, I guess. A homeless couple has gone missing from the city. You guess it's depressing? I raise an eyebrow at her. She clicks her tongue at me. I'm surprised they covered that story, to be honest. Nobody seems to care about homeless people. Yeah, these folks are well known. I remember seeing them every once in a while growing up. Oh, well, I'm sorry it upset you. I rub her arm comfortingly. Chances are they packed up and moved on, like Little Miss Peaches. The cat lets out a plaintive meow as she prowls into the kitchen. I'll take Pixie for a run, but then I'm going to be dead to the world for the rest of the day. Pixie isn't thrilled that I take the long route down Evinrude Street. She ushers me along at a clip, but that damn doll is still chilling out in the trees. What if I did take it down? Just laid it down in the grass so it wasn't staring out across the street anymore. Pixie tugs on her leash. I didn't realize we stopped running. With a heavy sigh and a look both ways, I lead my Dobie across the street. Daring to get closer, I step through the long grass. Pixie and I are about 10 feet away from the doll. Her nightgown is starting to get moldy from the cold, damp weather. I've never understood why they make dolls and mannequins so starved. Nobody has a waistline that thin. I'm pretty sure the doll is propped up on a pole. As I stare at her hidden face, I see a thread-like black wire. Following the line, I realize that the doll is also being kept in place with a garrote wire around its neck, tied off to the tree behind it. So morbid. If I cut the wire and lift it off its pole, it should be free. My phone rings in my pocket, and I nearly jump a foot in the air.
Reese, my mom invited us to brunch. Be back soon, okay?
Yeah, I'm on my way. As I hang up the phone, Pixie growls at the doll. I know it's creepy. I'll take it down soon. I promise. It almost seems like more of a promise to myself than to my dog. Twigs snap in the near distance. It sounded like a heavy footfall, more than a squirrel at any rate. Again, to my shame, I back away from the woods and its doll. I just can't turn my back to that thing. No nap for me. An ode to adulthood. When we go to bed that night, Ash is still scrolling as my eyes droop close. The dream I have is a nightmare. Everything is so tangible. As I dream it, I can hear a voice inside my head whisper, "You would never do this." I would never walk down Evinrude late at night. I would never go up to that doll with nothing but a flashlight. And I would never, ever reach out to brush its hair away from its face. Not at night. Not alone. My heart races, though it's a dream. When I move that ratty, dirty blonde hair aside, lifeless plastic blue eyes stare out at me. And then, it smiles. The doll smiles. A wretched, toothy grin with sharpened teeth. It isn't until something grabs the back of my neck that I scream, "Gah! Reese! Reese! Wake up!" Ash is shaking my shoulder as my eyes fly open. I flounder in bed for a moment until my mind catches up with my body. I'm safe. Everything is fine. My shirt is soaked with sweat, which is slightly disconcerting, but I'm alive. I'm awake. You were yelling in your sleep. Are you okay? Ash's eyes are wide with alarm and concern. Just a nightmare. God, my heart is beating so fast. I rip off my shirt and fling it in the general direction of the laundry hamper. Laying down, my skin touches a cold, wet sheet. Ugh. At my groan, my wife says, "Yeah, you're going to need to drink some Gatorade or something. You left like a whole pool of sweat." As I rummage through the linen closet for a fitted sheet, I can't help but feel that something is watching me. I close the door slowly. In the late night gloom, I shine my phone light down the hall. A pair of reflective green eyes flash. A blink, they're gone. Peaches meows in annoyance at the bright light. Sunday isn't the day to be tearing down a demonizing doll from its perch. I have my final soccer matches of the season. These are friendly, post-tournament games, usually followed by a beer or two. And I could really use a beer. Ash keeps an extra close eye on me from the bleachers. I feel bad, interrupting her sleep and making her worry. But I have a plan. I'm going to get rid of that doll at some point this week, and I'm going to regain control over my psyche. You'd think that with all the running around I did today, that I'd fall asleep easily. It's a struggle. Pixie is in her crate, Ash is breathing evenly next to me, and Peaches is curled up at the foot of the bed. Everything is calm and quiet. The silver moon streaks through the gaps in the curtain, and my eyelids finally close. In the dead of night, I toss and turn, rolling in and out of my dreams. There's a heavy presence near me. I open my eyes a crack as I face the window. There's a hazy shadow, a silhouette. Someone is standing there. What the fuck? I cry out, repelling away from it. Reese, what the hell? A blink, and it's gone. Didn't you see it? It was just there. See what? There was a man standing next to the bed or something. Ash's bedside light is on. No, babe. No one was standing there. Her tone is mildly angry, but mostly, I turn to her, and she looks scared. It felt so real. It was so real, I thought to myself. A towering figure with no distinguishing features, looming over the bed. Its head angled down at me. Your anxiety is manifesting itself. Ash rubs her hand over her brow as she lays back. Anxiety? Over that doll is my guess. Call town hall tomorrow and have the maintenance crew go by and cut it down. Please. This isn't like you, and it's scaring me a little to see you act like this, Reese. I'm sorry, honey. I'm going to take a sick day tomorrow. I'll get the doll down myself. No, Ash says firmly. I will call town hall tomorrow, the minute they open. Take the sick day and rest. I'll drive down Evinrude on my way home tomorrow night, and if the doll isn't cut down, there will be hell to pay. A faint smile crosses my lips. Ash is the most assertive person I've ever met. For the sake of my sleep tonight, I put my faith in her. Everything will be taken care of by the time my head hits the pillow tomorrow. When I wake up, a text from Ash is waiting for me. Took care of it. Get some sleep, Reese. But as the day drags on, both Pixie and I grow restless. We manage to get a nap in, sure. She needs to run, though, and I'm not sure what I need. But it's not here at the house. Out on our run, we avoid Evinrude Street completely. It's for the best. There's a crisp chill to the air, and it's delightfully refreshing. Pixie hasn't been this perky in a while. As she trots along, her tongue lolls, and her tail nub wiggles. Back at the house, I send Pixie to our fenced-in backyard to cool down. I flick on the TV, and my phone buzzes in my pocket. Going to be late home. Sorry. See you at 5:30. It's 4 p.m. now. The sun is already low in the sky. My attention is drawn to the TV with the words, "More missing," spoken by the anchor. Images of a couple bedraggled people flash on the screen. The news is so depressing. I click off the TV and tap my fingers on my thigh. I just got back from the run, but... Pixie was chewing a toy in the backyard rather complacently, so I left her out there. I need some alone time. Some time with my thoughts. The sun is setting, and the streetlights flicker on as I briskly walk down the road. This road is on the edge of a forest. The same forest that Evinrude backs onto. If I continue down this road for a while and take a left, I'll pass by that doll. Or, no, I won't. Ash said it would be gone. I have to trust that. Yet, as I walk along, it picks at the back of my mind. I need the doll gone. I can't leave it. Not for another night. With a confident inhale, I cross the road and wander into the trees. It isn't completely dark yet. And if I cut through the woods, I'll make it home before Ash. My hand reaches for my phone at the thought of her. My pocket is empty. Right, I left my phone on the counter. I didn't want to be bothered on my walk. Oh well. It's darker in the forest than I thought it would be. Light from the street lamps doesn't reach this far. The last pale light of day penetrates through the foliage, however. I should have been able to see it easily, but with my head in the clouds, I didn't. I walked smack into a scarecrow? What the hell? In the middle of the woods? I take a step back. It's propped up the way the doll is. Grot wire around its neck. I step around it to look at its face. It's a male mannequin this time. I shudder. Moonlight reflects off of its waxen skin. Just as I'm about to continue on, I do a double take. Its eyes are so human. Vacant. Dead eyes staring out. Oh God. I take a step back as my mind forces me to accept reality. This was a man. No. I turn and bolt in the direction of Evinrude Street. The light of the full moon illuminates my way through the cedar patch. My chest tightens, and my feet fly. The doll on Evinrude Street. A sharp crack sounds ahead. If I wasn't in flight mode, I would have stopped to listen to the ensuing cracks. I'm too scared. I keep running. Then, I see what was making the sound. Or who. A man wearing a balaclava was driving a wooden stake into the ground. Now, he's balancing a person on it. And he heard me. For a fleeting moment, we stare at each other. It seems to happen in slow motion. He drops the body, and it crashes to the forest floor. He starts running toward me, and I scream out of my own volition. Pivot, raise my left leg, push off with my right. I race toward the street adjacent to Evinrude. If I can reach the road, he will turn around, and I will run straight to the police station. God, he's fast. All I can hear are the twigs and undergrowth snapping behind me at a rapid rate. The road! I can see the streetlights. Adrenaline courses through my veins as I charge out of the woods. I fully expect the sound of the murderer chasing me to disappear. It doesn't. I don't bother looking over my shoulder. I can hear the soles of his boots pounding against the tarmac. He follows me as I sprint down the road. I don't know where I'm going. I should go to the police station. Where is it? Which street? Where the fuck am I? I want to scream for help. My mind is telling me I need every single breath I have if I want to live. Every single one. He's getting closer. If only I hadn't gone for that run with Pixie just before. Tears stream down my face, streaking in the wind. Pixie, Ash, the goddamn cat. Am I going to see my girls again? My mind blanks as a near and breathy voice mutters, I'm going to get you. A guttural scream erupts from my mouth, and I piss my pants. I'm going to die. I'm going to be made into a waxen human doll, set upon a pike, held affixed with garrote wire biting into my neck, left with a vacant, unseeing stare. A local haunt children will make ghost stories of. The man's fingers brush my jacket, and my legs pump harder. Every ounce of strength I have, I put into this final sprint. I'm headed straight for the lake on the edge of town. That bastard won't follow me into the water. If he does, I was on the swim team in college. I will escape. I will make it home. The water's edge is a few feet away. He tackles me to the ground. No! I shout, clawing at the earth. I try to squirm away, but he grasps my hair and yanks back, promptly smashing my face into the grass. Blood spurts from my nose, and I gasp out a shocked breath. I flip over and grab his hands as he thrusts them toward me. His thighs crush against my sides as he straddles me. His eyes are all but black, glinting with murderous rage in the moonlight. He's too strong. He rips his arms free, and in seconds, his hands are around my throat. My legs are kicking, flailing. My fingernails rake across his flesh in an attempt to pry his fingers from my throat. His thighs squeeze into me like spurs digging into a horse's flank. Fuck. Black splotches cloud my vision. A patchwork sky of stars and unnatural dark flecks. The last word I hear is die, uttered from the lips of my killer. Hot tears trail down from the corners of my eyes. And as I feel my soul rip free from my skeleton, the weight is released from my body. I choke out a breath. Someone is screaming. It isn't me. My crushed throat is barely letting in air. My head lolls to the left, and I blink the black splotches away. Pixie. Pixie is tearing into the murderer. He's shrieking in pain while my girl shreds the skin off his arm. A siren wails nearby, and Pixie yelps. The world goes dark. Something is beeping. The damned alarm on my phone. Where's the snooze? I reach out to silence it, and I hear Ash cry. Reese! My eyes flutter ajar. Ash is at my bedside. She's crying. Something feels tight on my stomach. Ash is gripping my shirt and sobbing. What's wrong? You're in the hospital, Reese. You nearly died. Her face is blotchy red, and her hair is a mess. Oh. I lift my hand to my throat. It's bandaged. They took the intubator out last week. They said you could breathe on your own again. I was so scared you wouldn't. Last week? What? How long? My throat is so dry, it might as well be two pieces of sandpaper rubbing against each other. A straw meets my lips, and Ash helps me drink. 2 weeks, baby. I'm so happy. She sniffles, and I squeeze her hand comfortingly. They induced you into a coma because your throat was crushed. Did they get him? I whisper. Ash's bottom lip trembles. No. She lets that sink in. He's still at large. Pixie tried her best. He kicked her in the jaw and ran. They're trying to find him. The blood trail ended, so they think he got into a car. Is Pixie okay? He broke her jaw. The nurses said I could bring her in, since she saved your life. Ash's lips touch my cheek. Pixie must have jumped the fence in the backyard. Did she hear me scream, all the way from the forest? She must have. Sweet girl. The nurses enter the room and give me a round of, "You're very lucky," and some bright lights in my eyes. They say a doctor will be by shortly. Reese, what happened? Some people said they saw you being chased out of the woods. They called the cops. The cops. They found... Ash swallows hard. That doll was a person, I say faintly. Yes, that murderer was kidnapping homeless people from the city. The police don't know everything yet. The missing people on the news. Ash is extremely shaken up. I know I should be too, but my brush with death has left me in a very calm state. He mummified those people in wax. That's why they looked more like dolls, mannequins, than humans. The doctor arrives, all smiles. Apparently I'm the talk of the town. More like the talk of the planet, the way Ash is painting it. The doctor informs me that I have a morphine button at my disposal. My nose was also broken in the attack, and the drug will help me sleep. I want you to try that button right now. When I wake, Ash isn't in the room. The humming and beeping of hospital equipment is almost kind of soothing. The door opens, and there's a scramble of nails on the slippery floor. "Pixie!" Ash exclaims as the dog launches herself onto the bed. My beautiful Dobie whines happily, her entire back end trembling with excitement. Her head is taped to hold her jaw in place, no doubt. Good girl. I pat her weakly. Turns out that serial killer fractured multiple of my ribs, too. Ash kisses my lips and pulls the seat next to the bed. She frets over me for a bit while I scratch Pixie's cropped ears. Then, she starts hesitantly. Reese, there's something else that I need to tell you. Sure. I've never seen my wife so still. She won't meet my gaze. After the incident, I didn't feel safe at home without you. I thought it was silly when I booked it, but I called in a locksmith. Got her to change the locks. Sure, yeah, that's not silly. Ash keeps her hands on her lap and stares at a random spot near the foot of the bed. The lock on the back door had been tampered with. What? Bile burns my throat. The locksmith said that there were issues with the tumbler and evidence to support a break-in. Ash glances at me, and I must be staring at her in shock because she looks away. That night, the night you said you saw someone standing next to the bed, a shadow, I whisper, my anxiety manifesting itself. Ash blinks away tears. That's what I thought. Until I found a little cube of something on your nightstand. What was it? I ask faintly. Wax.